Hey everybody, it's Alika Lifty, and today let's brew our Colombia Aponte Village decaffeinated coffee as a filter offering. We're going to take a little twist on what we usually do for our decaf coffee, which is brew our cafe Kalita wave recipe, because that's how we do it in the cafes. Instead, we've got a little bit of a twist. So one of the reasons is because we really liked this coffee. So we tried it normally, and then we tried to kind of turn it up a little bit. And so Matthew Toomer, who you saw 4, 5, 6 brew guides ago, actually made this recipe, but he's unfortunately tremendously busy right now. And so I'm gonna do his brew guide. And so I'm gonna be checking at my phone just to make sure I do his recipe correctly. He's actually right now whipping up a seasonal beverage for the spring menu. And I'm gonna brew this decaf coffee, which is unfortunate because he actually loves decaf coffee. He told me he drinks it almost every night, which is why I made him brew this coffee. So we're gonna be using 24 grams of coffee. This is ground medium coarse. So this was 13 on my Malkunig EKS, which is going to be about 28 clicks on your Comandante C40. And this was about 16 on my Baratza Encore. So pretty coarse, not quite as coarse as I would do for a Chemex, but still pretty coarse for a Kalita wave. However, we're gonna split this into 5 different pours, going all the way up to 350 grams total for our water. But this drain time of 3 minutes and 10 seconds is still much faster than we traditionally get for our decaf offerings. Is there a reason for that? I don't really know, because Aponte Village is really high elevation, 2,100 meters above sea level, and so it is a very dense coffee. And then decaffeinated traditionally makes our coffees drain really slow, especially in those late stages of our brew. So having 5 pours, being not as coarse as we would even usually grind for our decaf Kalita, and then draining almost 2 minutes faster, I don't exactly know what leads up to that, but we're gonna get a really good cup of coffee. First things first, let's wet our paper filter and pour this water straight in the middle. Let it fill up a little bit. I can feel some of this heat on my finger, and now I can go ahead and rinse the sides of this filter. I like to go until I start to dissipate that paper smell wafting up off the paper. So there we go. Now, 5 different pours. Each one is gonna be 30 seconds apart. So I'm gonna start my timer, and I'm gonna pour 50 grams. And then at 30 seconds, I'm gonna pour another 50 grams. And then at 1 minute, I'm gonna pour 100 grams. At a minute 30, I'm gonna pour another 100 grams, and my final 50 grams is gonna be at 2 minutes. Just dunk this coffee in here, shake our brewer flat. I'm gonna tare my scale, and let's go. First things first, let's bloom. Drop in here, lightly touch all the coffee. Now what we have done here is essentially a 2-part pre-infusion. First part, this first initial 50-gram pour is starting to saturate our coffee. It's starting to degas, and then at 30 seconds I give it another light pour of 50 grams, just trying to push out any of that extra gas and resaturate our coffee. So there we go. It should be at 100 total when I'm done with this. There we go. And then at 1 minute, I'm gonna pour 100 grams. So bringing this all the way up to 200 total. So 30 seconds each gives you a nice little wait time. And be sure to pour evenly. We have a flatbed dripper with a lot of pours. I'm gonna pour in an even spiral so that my brew bed stays flat as I brew. I'm gonna pour heavier now as I get to these, because now I'm pouring 100 grams rather than just 50. And work my way around the outside. There we go. So that took about 5 to 6 spirals to reach that full 100. Here at a minute and a half, I'm gonna pour up to 300. So nice steady flow rate, what we're seeing. There we go. Should see this coffee stir up a little bit. That's how heavy you should be pouring. And all the way around, there we go. All right, so because it's decaf, it likes to stall when you brew. And so we didn't really have any trouble with under extracting our coffee or not getting enough out of it. Unless you ground this like a French press, you really shouldn't have that issue with a drip coffee. Here we go, 2 minutes. My last 50 grams. There we go. However, when we did let this drain too long, so either grinding too finely or just waiting way too long in between each of these pours, it became more muddled in flavor. It didn't drift over into bitterness and drying range or even like astringency. We just muddled the flavor and just lost some of its intricacy and what made it so enjoyable. It doesn't really taste like a decaffeinated coffee. It just tastes like a really good Colombian coffee, which is really nice. So I expect a drain time, like I said, of 3 minutes and 10 seconds. We've still got a little bit of time here, but this is draining through pretty steadily. When we are balanced, we are going to get traditional Aponte Village. We're gonna get apple, we're gonna get some almond, and we're going to get some lemon. Traditional Colombia Aponte Village. We've had Aponte honey processed for ages. You can almost always get that here in our cafes. And this decaf sticks to that. We haven't really added anything or taken anything away as far as flavor goes. So I'm draining a little bit long here. I'm gonna take this off at 330. See, Matt should have brewed this one. He just got that artist touch with the decaf coffee. Whew. It smells really good though. All right, serve and enjoy.